The Groovebox by VoxGlitch is a free sample-based drum machine that resembles the nostalgic ones that we know and love. It has all the typical Groovebox parameters like ratcheting and step-specific probability. But it also has sample manipulation and some built-in effects. Here's how this bad boy can sound. Let's check out how to use this thing. We can load samples into the Groovebox several different ways. We can double-click on this little screen, which brings up the File Explorer, or we can right-click on it and navigate to Load Sample. We can also right-click outside of these windows and load samples into slots 1 through 8, or auto-load the first 8 WAV files from a particular folder. Once we have the samples loaded, we could use these arrows to cycle through them in the folder. Mine don't cycle alphanumerically, which is a little weird, but it still cycles through all of the files in the folder, so no big deal. The main outputs are along the top. The mix output is a combination of all 8 samples, and these provide individual output for their associated sample. These are the clock and reset inputs. We must use a ×32 clock with this module, and we can see that indicated here. Lots of clock modules have built-in multipliers. One of my favorites is clocked by impromptu. We just crank this sucker up to 32, and we're ready to roll. These buttons allow us to input hits for each step. The indicator light displays if the step is active or inactive. There are 16 total steps, and we can adjust them by hovering over this gray bar and moving the start and end locations. In this example, I'm using all 16 steps at 120 BPM. If we wanted to do some 4 on the floor, we would click on the kick sample and then click the first button of every beat. Then we click on the snare sample and activate the second and fourth beat. Open hat on the off beats for the dance vibe. We can shift steps left or right by right-clicking on any step and navigating to the Shift Step options in the context menu. We also have the ability to randomize the steps and clear them. There are 16 memory slots available that we can use to create variations of our rhythms. We can copy any memory slot by selecting the slot we like, clicking Copy, then selecting the slot we'd like to paste to, and clicking Paste. We can switch between these slots by sending control voltage to this port. It moves slots every 0.625 volts, with slot 1 being 0 volts and slot 16 being 10 volts. In this example, I have a step sequencer switching the memory slot between 1 and 2 every bar. This essentially extends the 16-step phrase to a 32-step phrase. In this example, I have a sample and hold that chooses a random voltage and sustains it for 4 beats. I've incorporated an add 5 to make the minimum voltage 0 as opposed to -5, and limited the variation of the voltage with an attenuator. Now the sample and hold randomly selects between the first 4 memory slots, and we can increase how many memory slots are in the selection by cranking up the attenuator. This way we have some random variation with different ratcheting and fills. Each step also has parameter knobs associated with it. By default, the parameter knobs affect the amplitude, but there are many more parameters that we can manipulate per step, and the knobs automatically switch when a new parameter is selected. We've got volume, pan, pitch, ratchet, probability, delays, an envelope, sample manipulation, and a filter. These features are great, and I'd like to encourage you to experiment with all of them. Well, that's it for this one. If you make some sick beats, send them my way. All the content I make, including the samples used in this video, are free for everyone forever, and you can find them on my Ko-fi page. I have some supporters I'd like to shout out. Citacitic has shown generous support for the 2nd time. Thank you so much for your support, Citacitic, I really appreciate it. Sammy Gumirin is a new monthly supporter. Thank you so much for your support, Sammy Gumirin. I really appreciate your support and the kind words you leave in the comments. Sean Garland showed support again as a monthly supporter. Sean Garland is one of my first supporters ever, and I really appreciate the continued support. Thanks so much, Sean, you rock. Huge shout out to my other supporters as well. Your names will always remain on my webpage and on the dedication page of the VCV Rack cheat sheet. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.